Yo, did you see that Newcastle have agreed 70 million euros for Isaac?
No. Was that
What?
today?
Yes. That
I've
was just announced today.
I haven't seen any of the transfer news so far. Wow.
They are splashing the cash, man.
17 mil.
70 million euros. And
Man.
includes 5 million in add-ins. Like, I was like, okay. Newcastle is like, oh, you thought us playing on equal footing with City was big? Nah, how about I shut you up in my wallet?
The Premier League really is like, as a video I was watching today, on Shino's Arsenal, it really is the Super League, because if Newcastle, that's just really gotten these new owners, can already be attracting this level of player. If West Ham, who I heard is also looking to buy Lucas Paqueta,
Yeah, I saw that as well.
very highly sought after people, and if these players are willing to go to sort of mid-tier teams in the Premier League, no offense to them, I mean,
I think Newcastle is gonna mature from that mid-tier team very soon.
oh, of course, and that's why
Because
they're making big moves like this. It's just, I don't think anyone was expecting to be this quickly.
yeah, I mean, personally, I feel like they overpaid.
Of course they did, and all these teams from
Because
these different leagues know that Premier League has the money. That's why.
yeah,
That's why
because
they're charging.
Arsenal was looking at him a while ago, and I think they were asking for like a similar amount. And for me, he's his numbers never justified the amount.
Not even close.
Because like, okay, in the case of overspending for Arsenal's case, in the case of Nicolas Pepe, at least he had like a really amazing season where he scored about 20 goals.
Yeah,
Isaac only has about 30 something goals in like over 100 appearances.
yeah, which is not, and I think that's another thing why Arsenal were not necessarily too keen on him, because the numbers, based off his number, obviously, stats and everything, yes, 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 don't tell the full story, but at the same time, to pay that much for a player that a lot of other teams did look at him, and I think they came to that same conclusion that, obviously speculating here, that his record did not justify how much Real Sociedad was looking for. But listen, if you're able to find a buyer, then hey, it's good for those mid-table, Spanish clubs or Italian clubs. They're taking the Premier League for a ride.
I guess so, but yeah, I guess while we're on that, welcome everybody to Football by the Sea. Your host G-Day.
And I'm John.
Yeah, we're coming a bit late today. It's been a busy week, but we're finally here. And so as we're talking about Newcastle, might as well just start with their game. Newcastle 3, Manchester City 3.
Yeah, that was not what anyone saw in the predictions, because I was like, all right, listen, I know Newcastle are doing well. Eddie Howe is a very good manager, but City are going to go do their thing. Haaland's going to score one or two, which he did score, but Newcastle were up 3-1, I believe, in the second half.
Yeah, they came from a goal down to lead 3-1, and they were value for money. It wasn't like it was luck at all.
Not at all. And I think I heard some City fans talking about the fact that a lot of teams don't really take the game to them, and that is one of the blueprints or ways that you can get at City is when they have people running at them and don't give them enough time on the ball. Because most teams are scared of City, they usually sit back and let City play their own game and have the possession. But I saw Saint Maximin just like running down the wing. I saw
he tormented Kyle Walker.
yeah,
That game. Pretty much the entire City defense. Like he had them on toast.
yeah, along with Callum Wilson,
And then Trippier scoring like an amazing free kick.
yeah, and also Miguel Almiron doing his thing. So I was genuinely, I won't say like I was surprised, but because they did it against City, obviously it was a bit of a surprise. I didn't think they would be able to do that at this stage that they're in their development. Speaking of Trippier, I think there was a penalty shout at some point. in the game on De Bruyne, right?
No, it was a red card because he
Oh,
had like a
sorry. Yes,
tackle.
sorry.
Yeah, that was a high tackle. But when I saw it, it looked rough, but I didn't think it was a red card. It was high. Studs were showing, but it wasn't like a full on, like the studs didn't like hit him directly. I
Mm.
personally thought it would have been harsh if it was given as a red, and I felt like VAR did the right thing and overturned the red card and
Mm.
made it a yellow. But I saw some pundits saying that they believe that probably in like a few seasons that a challenge like that will become a red, which if he does, then I don't know what to say anymore.
I think the only thing for me was just the inconsistency again, because last season there were challenges like that were maybe even less egregious that would have been deemed a red, but obviously VAR overturned it. Not VAR, but the referee looked and overturned it, and at least it worked well. Because it would have been really terrible for Newcastle to go down to 10 men after playing so well. And
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I just feel Eddie Howe is doing a really good job. I mean, I believe he's one of those coaches that I felt deserved a chance at a big club.
hmm
Because I remember when there were rumors that he could take over at Arsenal, I was personally looking forward to that because the way how I see a lot of this, like, I guess managerial positions, especially in in the Premier League, they seem to overlook a lot of up and coming English managers,
hmm
and they always go for like the proven, not even always proven, just the foreigner, just because I guess maybe the name sounds better or something. Because yeah, like I thought that Eddie Howe honestly could have been decent at Manchester United
Yeah, yeah.
because even because back when he was at Bournemouth, you could see that there was a style of play he wanted, but the players he had there just weren't talented enough. And now at Newcastle, he has more talented players, and
hmm
he's able to do it better. And now I'm actually happy that you're giving him the chance to actually do that. They're giving him money to spend. He signed a new contract not too long ago. So I'm actually really, really looking forward to see if he can like achieve something there.
Yeah, and I think he will. And speaking on young English managers, because it seems to have shifted from the days of old where in the 90s it was more English managers, and there was a sort of negative view of foreigners, but people like Arsene Wenger, Mourinho, and others kind of came into the Premier League and sort of shifted that. So it's kind of interesting to see how your perspective on.
No,
Uh,
well, for that, I think the reason why that happened is because I personally believe that English football fell backwards. They were stuck in like the stone age of football. They were very rigid. It was a strict 4-4-2. While it seems like the foreign managers were the ones who were taking more risks.
hmm
They were the ones who mostly introduced new formations with the. 'Cause I think yeah, back when I was a kid, pretty much everyone was playing a 4-4-2. Like
Yeah.
everyone. The only teams that ever played anything different was maybe Italian teams, and maybe will play like a five at the back. It's foreign managers that introduced the more of the 4-3-3 or the 4-3-2-1. Of trying out these things. Almost every English manager was just strictly a 4-4-2. And then if you look at the library of managers who've been in the Premier League that were just like um exchanging clubs for a while with each other, people like Sam Allardyce, Alan Pardew. Like I think Alan Pardew has managed like what 3 or 4 teams in the Premier League. So as Sam Allardyce, looking at those managers, you can't really see a style of players. You usually just hit it long and then you run for the
Yep.
ball, which was the old style of English. And so the the thing that I've seen that's changed so far is I think the English FA realized that they were lagging behind, and that I also saw a video that was actually pretty informative on this, on how it was actually more expensive for people to get their uh, coaching badges in England. Like it was more expensive than it was in other countries. So in other countries, more people were doing it. So like there was more ideas, there was more things happening. While in England, it was harder. But that's been changing recently, where it's easier to get it now. So we're seeing more English managers who are like more progressive. So like, Eddie Howe, the guy at the Brighton, I think, Potter, I think.
Graham Potter.
Yeah, and even like other managers in the championship as well. And we could also see the fruits of that with the English players as well. There's more English players that are more technically gifted,
Mm-hmm.
who can pass the ball better, who have more range in their style of play.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Um, and it just means that City dropped points at Newcastle. I mean, it was a very thrilling game, but credit to City because, again, like I always talk about championship medal, they were able to come back in the game, and from being ahead 1-0 to going down 3-1 to coming back to draw it 3-3, and either one of them could have won that game in the end, but
Oh yeah, like City did not panic at all.
yeah.
Even when it was 3-1, they did not panic. They just kept on going at their game. And yeah, like you said, it's the mentality of champions. So so yeah, that was an amazing game. Pretty much for me personally, the game of the weekend. While we stay on Sunday, West Ham lost again to Brighton. We were just talking about their manager. So now they're bottom of the table with no goals, no points.
Really?
Yes.
I thought they'd won at least one game.
No, they lost all three.
Oh wow! I guess that's why they're trying to get Paqueta right now. Because I know they have ambitious owners and they want to be able to try and do something this season. Seeing how close they've been to Europe in the past couple seasons. And being
Yeah, I
in the
mean
Europa League
they're in
last
the
year.
Conference League
Yeah.
this season, but yeah, it hasn't been a good start to the season for them. They lost to City, then they lost to Forest, and then now they lost to Brighton.
Yeah, and that guy Skamaka, like he was another one with a bit of like a shaky. I don't want to say stats or any shaky stats, but like
Yeah, it wasn't great. His first home start, and he gave away a penalty. I mean,
no, I mean even before, like because a lot of during the early in the transfer window, he was another name that was being brought up, but a lot of teams didn't go for him. So West Ham got him, and I was like, okay, let's see what he can do. I haven't put him up top in my fantasy, but like he hasn't scored a single goal yet. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a slow start, but we'll see what happens.
yeah, I think it's still pretty early. We can't write off anyone yet. And while we're on that, Brighton still looking good. Started the season beating United, drew the next game, and they won the next one. So they're right up there right now. But they've never been an easy team to beat anyway. So
Yeah.
I just with Brighton, I still just expect another mid-table finish for them.
I mean, I don't know. Graham Potter, I think he's the type of guy that really wants to push to have higher ambitions. Obviously, depending on what the owners are willing to pay, because Brighton does do good business. I mean, they sold Ben White to Arsenal for like what, 50 million. They're
Yeah,
about to
but they
sell.
sold Cucurella
Yeah,
already.
yeah, they do good business. The only thing is if they can reinvest that in, and actually go for those European places this season.
All right, we'll see how their season goes. And finally on Sunday, I guess the other surprising result was Leeds 3, Chelsea 0.
Surprising. That's an understatement. Chelsea got battered by Leeds. I mean, thoroughly battered.
Yeah, I think Chelsea really, really needs like that central striker, that target, that someone who's gonna put the ball in the back of the net because they created chances. I think they had more shots than Leeds, but had less shots on target than Leeds.
Yeah, and the thing is that, in this game, it's about scoring goals. And guys like Havertz, Mount, Pulisic, they are not really doing the business. Obviously, Sterling is there trying to do his thing, but
I mean, Pulisic didn't even start. We can only talk about the people who are on the field.
I'm sure he came into the game at some point.
Yeah, but they were already down by the time he came in.
Yeah,
Ziyech
but
came in, they were down. I mean, and remember they went down to 10 men because of Koulibaly's.
that was I think about the 80 something minute. And speaking of Koulibaly,
Yeah,
he
but I'm
had a
saying,
stinker of a game.
yeah, Aronson had him on toast. Like,
That was I don't even know what happened with him. Coming off of that nice volley in the last game. I mean, the whole Chelsea performance coming off of the Tottenham game, the way that they were talking, like everyone's trying to say Chelsea is not
yeah,
is down and everything, and they put their chest out like, look at how we performed against Tottenham, even Thomas Tuchel. But then to come and then have a lame performance like this, I mean, Jesse Marsh just really had his team well drilled, and they knew what they were doing, and they weren't scared of Chelsea.
yeah, it's just a bad day at the office for pretty much everyone involved.
I think there was a American. I'm not sure if he's a winger or what position he plays in
Yeah,
Leeds.
Aronson.
Yeah.
He's someone who can play in, like, as a left winger, right winger, or number 10 in the middle. I think he played as a number 10
Right.
in the game.
He had a very good game also, and that was very. He was wearing like the American flag at the end, which I don't think I've ever actually seen an American flag, like, because you always see like the Brazilian flag, you see all these different countries in the Premier League at least. But that was cool. And that was cool for Jesse March too. Like, you can really see that he does have a philosophy. Leeds have spent money this transfer window, and it looks like the style that he wants to play and the players that they have, it's slowly bearing fruit, even though it's very, very early. But those are good signs.
Yeah, no, they're investing the Rafinha and Calvin Phillips money pretty well.
Yeah, Chelsea, I don't know if they're probably gonna make a few more signings before the window shuts.
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing is they're close to agreeing a fee for Aubameyang, and also for Fofana from Leicester.
Yeah. On the Aubameyang one, I just think it's a bit weird because apparently Xavi wants to keep him at Barcelona, but Barcelona's financial situation is such that they do need to get rid of people in order to be in line with the rules in La Liga and things like that. So
Yeah, no, they weren't able to register Koundé for this past weekend's games. It's how they are just even spending money in the first place is still a mystery to everyone.
yeah, it's all over the place. But yeah, so let's see what happens with Chelsea. Um, and speaking of Tuchel, you can honestly, like, from the way he talks and moves, this guy really just wants to be like. There's some people that want to manage an overall structure beyond just players, but from the way Tuchel is, he seems like someone that wants to just be a coach. And given the situation that Chelsea has been in over the past year, I feel bad for him sometimes, but then other times I'm just like, I don't really care that much. Like, it is what it is.
I mean, yeah, there's been a lot of turmoil behind the scenes at Chelsea, and maybe there hasn't been a distraction for the players, but it has been a distraction for him because I think he's definitely taken on more responsibility than he had originally thought he was going to.
Mm.
So, like you said, because being a manager is a lot more. It's a lot more heavy than just being the coach.
Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility, and not everyone is meant for it, and that's no blight on him or anything. It's just what it happens to be. I think given time, he will ride the ship. He just needs more time, and he just needs to get the players that he needs in.
Right. I agree with that.
So that was all Sunday. On Saturday, we had a much more regularly scheduled program, Premier League. Starting with Spurs narrowly defeating Wolves at home. Harry Kane with his I think 185th or 86th goal for Spurs, putting him level with Aguero for most goals for one team.
Yeah, congratulations to him. Spurs really did scrape that one because Wolves had a lot of chances.
Yeah, he scraped. Even the goal they scored was because Wolves fell asleep at the back.
Yeah.
The player who was supposed to mark him just forgot to do that, and Kane had a free header, but he still put the ball at the back of the net. And a good team wins even when they don't play well.
But I think the way Spurs look, they still need a couple additions, or they need time to really just gel with Conte's playing style and everything. And sometimes,
Yeah, I think they pretty much have his playing style down. It's Conte's play style is not hasn't ever been like flashy or anything. It's
no,
always been
yes,
more
no,
functional.
yes. But I think that given that he's been there for like half a season, and then sometimes we've seen with his other teams, like because of how rigorous his the training is and things like that, it might take a while. But if they really start to click, then they will be really dangerous. But I still think they need a few more additions.
Additions where
I still think their defense is a bit shaky, in my opinion. You know, with the guys at the back, like what is it, like Romero, and even
their
guys like
defense has been pretty solid so far this season. They've they've conceded 3 goals, but then 2 were against a very good Chelsea, and 1 was against Southampton in the first game.
well, we'll see how they continue to move.
All right, and Wolves on the other hand, they haven't had a great start. So like 2 losses and a draw, and also like teams like Arsenal are hovering over their players like Neto and stuff. So it's not gonna be another easy season for them
Mm-hmm.
either. And next game was Crystal Palace 3, Villa 1. Villa continuing their bad start to the season. I mean, they do have a win, but that was against Everton.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with Villa. I really can't tell. I don't even, because I wasn't looking at how many additions that they've made or anything like that. But yeah, I'm not too sure there. Crystal Palace, on the other hand, Vieira just doing his thing. They're
Crystal Palace have looked good in all 3 games. Even the one where they lost to Arsenal,
yeah,
they still look pretty good.
yeah.
They should have beaten Liverpool, in my opinion.
And Zaha has been doing very well for them.
Zaha is always doing bits, man. I mean, it's a shame that he never really got to play at like a much bigger team to go for like bigger trophies, but I guess you could say he's gonna go down as a Crystal Palace legend.
Well, I hope so. For him. But yeah, moving on from that game, Everton versus Nottingham Forest was a 1-1 draw. I didn't really watch this game, so I don't have too much of a perspective on how it went.
I sort of had it on in the background. It was Everton played a decent game. I mean, Iwobi seems to be thriving in his new role in like the middle of the midfield for Everton. He was stringing, pretty much controlling their entire midfield. Although Forest did score first, but then Everton did well to tie the game in the dying moments of the game.
Yeah,
So,
and Everton's another team where people are hovering over their players.
yeah, Chelsea is hovering over Anthony Gordon, which confuses me because they need a striker, but I don't know why they're going after this kid.
I forgot what position he plays again.
He's like, I think he's like a wide player.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that one is a bit odd to me. Maybe they're hoping to develop him for the future, but from all I've seen from Chelsea, it looks like they're looking for someone for right now.
Yeah, I would like to just let the kid play every game at Everton this year, let him continue his development, and then come back next season.
Pretty sure Lampard does also want to keep him there.
Yeah, I'm sure they want to keep him. I saw a price of about 60 million, but then that they rebuffed that. I was like, yeah, they just sold Richarlison for that amount, and they feel like this one has more value. So
Right.
yeah, they have no reason to sell.
Everton, on the other hand, I think they're gonna struggle massively this season, and Lampard is going to really struggle. Nottingham Forest, decent start for them, pretty decent start, and hopefully they can continue to do well. You know, with the like the 1 million players that they brought in.
I think they're still looking for like one more player.
Yeah, I know. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, but then I heard that the reason they're buying so many players is because last season, a lot of their squad was players that were on loan. So they had like, a lot of space to fill out. That's why they're buying so many players. But we'll see if it works out because it's never worked out for a lot of teams that did that. I think the last team I saw that did that was Crystal Palace. No, not Crystal Palace. I'm sorry. Queen's Park Rangers. I think they brought in about 11 players and they just went straight back down because the players just didn't have the time to gel. But who knows? Maybe lightning won't strike twice. Fulham beat Brentford this weekend.
That was actually an entertaining game.
A very entertaining game, and I think Fulham were up 2-0. Brentford came back, but then Fulham took it. Mitrovic having a nice goal-scoring season, man.
He's doing very well so far for Fulham. That was a great addition for them.
Yeah, they're having a decent start to the season, and I guess another thing that people forgot is that it's actually a London derby.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that also added to it, and why the entertainment value was also pretty high.
And I mean, these two teams saw each other not too long ago in the championship, so
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so I was thinking, we're gonna have a bunch of London derbies this season.
Yeah.
And then Leicester lost to Southampton. This one caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, at home too. Honestly, I think everything that's happening with Leicester, with the Fofana situation, the Tielemans situation, because I think Tielemans also sat out this game. It just seems like, and I think Roger said that he wasn't in the right headspace. He said something around like, he wanted the players to be in the right headspace, and it's just all so curious because even if the player is leaving, if you need an important player in your squad to ensure that you don't lose the game, sometimes you might just have to play him, and it backfired. Leicester lost the game. Southampton, which I don't rate at all, I was very surprised that they won that game. But
I hear you, but if you play the player and then he gets injured and then
of course, yeah.
It's a risk reward type of thing, and you have to, at that moment, you have to pick what's more important.
Yeah.
And finally on Saturday was I guess the easiest game of the day pretty much was Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 3, which is pretty much kind of a stroll in the park for Arsenal in this game. They didn't.
I mean, that first half display by Arsenal was one of the most dominant ones I've seen in a while. They didn't even let Bournemouth breathe on the ball for any second.
Yeah, it was complete domination by Arsenal, and there was a huge gulf in quality on the field. Arsenal just had the better players. Forget even tactics or anything. They just had the better, more talented players.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the goal from William Saliba. That's not something you see in training. That's
not something you even see most center backs, world class, or in any team do. Like, that was a surprise to everyone, even the manager.
The one thing I noticed that so far, kind of the two best goals so far this season have both come from center backs. Koulibaly last week, Saliba.
And then Saliba.
This one.
No, but I mean, listen, that third goal, that strike was so lovely. I mean, into the top corner from a set piece play. The set piece coach at Arsenal, I forgot his name, Nico or something. I mean, what an addition. I remember, I think, when Liverpool got one and people were making fun of them. But a lot of teams are doing it now. And Arsenal has become one of the best teams in the Premier League at set pieces, at defending and scoring goals from set pieces. So, that's another great addition that a manager can bring in.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I take from the game was after Saliba scored and Zinchenko just put his hands on his head.
No,
like,
that was great meme material because like I remember I saw that and then I saw Zinchenko just fall to the floor like
yeah,
yeah
he just went to his knees like, oh my goodness, what did
yeah
I just see?
that
Like
was
he
that
didn't
was
even
awesome.
run to celebrate with them. He just he go back up and then just put his hands up there like, you know what? I
Yeah,
just have to
nah.
like give it
Yeah.
up. And, like,
And he gave kudos to him after in his post match interview, saying that like he's young and he has so like he's already really great and he has so much to. The potential is crazy. But also, speaking of another player, Martin Odegaard got 2 goals, got a brace, and I think that was really good considering last week how. And the week before, he had been criticized a lot by Arsenal fans for.
Justified criticism in my opinion. Because if you remember the game against Crystal Palace, he had a chance, but then he wanted to like cut it back and look for a pass, and it was just like, dude, just shoot.
Yeah.
And this game he did, and he said this is the first game in which he scored 2 goals since he was 15 back in Norway.
Wow. But I mean, yeah, I think I think he's also the type of player that takes that criticism in his stride and actually does work to improve because he shut everyone up with those 2 goals and they were very good goals because he took the second one off of Gabriel Jesus' foot because he was in a better position. Even the first one, the move by Jesus to just cut through 4 of the Bournemouth players and just take them out of the game completely.
Just laid it off for Martinelli, who should have scored.
I mean, that was a decent save by their keeper.
It was a decent save, but like when you're 1-on-1 like that, you expect the attacker to score. Usually, if it's saved, then it's more. Usually, when that's saved, it's usually the attacker kind of playing it straight at the goalie.
Mm-hmm.
Because that sort of happened later in the game with Nketiah as well. He had a nice chance and didn't play it far enough away from the keeper where he could have scored. But yeah, it was just simple job done. You know, they got the 2 goals and they kind of just controlled the rest of the game.
Yeah,
like
I think Bournemouth was a little bit better in the second half, but still
they were. But there was never this.
There's never a threat.
Yeah, exactly. There was never a threat that maybe if they score 1, then it will be nervy. But like you thought, even if they scored 1, there was still no belief that they will come to like tie the game or do anything like that. So yeah, Arsenal looking decent so far, and finally the game that humbled a lot of Liverpool fans this weekend. Manchester United 2, Liverpool 1. I don't know. I was surprised and not surprised at the same time.
You know what? I kind of echo that sentiment because given how badly Man U had started, I was like, they need a crazy response. And all the things that we heard after the Brentford game where they canceled, Ten Hag canceled the players' day off and they started running. Apparently, he was taking part in that exercise too.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Because Brentford had run, I think, about 13-point-something kilometers more than
I heard about that stat.
Than the Man U players. So he made them run that same amount. And apparently, from what I read, he joined in also to, and I think that's the sign of a manager saying that he's also taking the blame and he's also like, taking sort of the punishment in a sense. But yeah, they came out and they really took the game to Liverpool.
They pressed Liverpool, and I don't know, from watching the game, I could tell that there was a very simple game plan that they had, which was, if you go back to the Liverpool Crystal Palace game, was also a bit similar, and Fulham did it a bit as well. So like, one thing I noticed in this game is that De Gea wasn't dilly-dallying on the ball. As soon as he got it, he played it long. But almost every time he played it long, he played it to the side where Trent was playing. Because it's like everyone has pretty much realized that when it comes to the Liverpool defense,
that's the weak link.
Because he's going to be very far away from the other.
He's going to be
pushing forward.
Up the line.
And to be fair, he's not great one-on-one. Because if you go back last week to Crystal Palace Liverpool, when Crystal Palace scored, it was down his side of the field. Against Fulham, like he could have headed the ball away that Mitrovic scored with, but like he just like waited, let it in, and it looks like it's a pattern right now that every team is just going after that side of the field of Liverpool.
Yeah, and it's a point that you can exploit more easily, and also considering the fact that you have guys, important players out like
Liverpool was missing a lot of their midfield.
yeah,
Jota is injured. Nunez, stupid red card. Keita is still injured, and Thiago is injured.
so
Chamberlain is injured. So yeah, the midfield was what Elliott.
it was Henderson and Milner and Harvey Elliott.
Yeah,
And I think after the first goal that Jadon Sancho scored, I mean, again, it was also part of the blink and go to Trent on that side.
Yeah, because the attack came down his side. But then the thing is that when that happens, Gomez has to like go into cover.
Yeah.
And then Van Dijk sort of has to go there and also cover. So Van Dijk is covering for Gomez, who has to cover for him.
No, but then Milner had to come in and try to...
Yeah, Milner came in and tried to block, but then Sancho was smart and, he cut it back. And then if you go back and watch that, Trent is just jogging back into the box, man, like not a care in the world. And then I feel maybe Van Dijk could have tried to move forward.
Yeah, he could have tried to move a little bit more.
But the thing is, looking back at it, if he did that, Sancho could have just passed to Bruno, who was right there, and Bruno could have scored. So I can cut Van Dijk some slack there, but Van Dijk didn't have a good game.
Yeah, because immediately after that goal went in, Milner tore into him. Like when you saw that on
I saw that he tore into him. He was, it was someone had to tear into someone because they weren't. Liverpool just wasn't playing well. It wasn't, and I think a big part of the blame is the players that they're missing in the midfield.
That's part of it, but at the same time, Liverpool had been in this situation before the season that they came fourth not too long ago when they had all those injuries and they had to make a couple panic buys in January. So
yeah, but last season they didn't start out great either. It wasn't until like December, January that they went on a great run and caught up to City. Because I remember there was a time City was like 13 points ahead, and
and everyone thought the league was over, and then
so I still expect them to get back, but I mean, and I think this was a good win for Manchester United. But one thing I saw that still bothers me about them is this looked like how they played when they were under Ollie.
And a lot of pundits pointed it out that this is not necessarily Ten Hag's philosophy or style of playing, but he needed to do that given the situation that he's in with the players that he has.
Yeah, and I'm completely fine with that. But then I because I feel like I saw some people getting carried away. They're like, oh yeah, now it is like United revolution has started, and it was like because even under Ollie, United still had some decent results against Manchester City and Liverpool. So. And it was pretty much the same tactic. Let them have the ball, and then we'll hit them on the counter. I mean, this game, Liverpool, looking at had 70% of the possession.
Yeah. And they were trying up to the very end to get an equalizer.
Yeah, but one person I believe who needs kudos is Martinez.
I was just about to mention that. He put his body on the line.
I see why they call him the butcher, man. He was like bringing that knife down on everything, throwing himself at everything, putting it. I don't know. He and Varane just
were a good combo.
Yeah, assured. And like they were covering for each other. Like, I saw. I think there was a part where Diaz was about to go through, and then Varane was like, "Nah, I'm rugby tackling this dude down. He's not getting past me." And stuff like that is. I don't think Harry Maguire would do that.
No.
Or if he does, he would probably chokehold the guy rather than just a smart.
He'll probably get carded.
Yeah. Or he'll probably just let him pass and then do his weird run to try and catch up. So, but a very good win for Liverpool. The funny thing I saw a rumor that Chelsea was interested in getting Maguire.
I've been seeing that too, and I don't even understand what is happening.
No, 'cause the rumor was that they would take Maguire and then they will give them Pulisic, which I think can be good for United. The thing I feel it could also be good for Chelsea because Maguire is a better player in the back three.
Yeah, that is actually
He's a
true.
much better player in the back three. Back to just I think he gets exposed too much, and maybe it's just the way how United play, and that just exposes him so much. But whenever he's in the back three with England, dude is solid.
I mean, before he even went to United, like that was why they wanted him because he was so solid for
Yeah,
Leicester.
well, mainly because he was so solid at the World Cup. At Leicester, who no one really knew him that much.
Yeah, but I mean, they've always been adept at selling up.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, 80 million for Maguire was pretty much daylight robbery. Everyone knows that. Even United knew that was the case, but I guess they just said, "Look, we need a defender. Just take it." But yeah, but it was
But yeah, I think with Martinez and Varane, that could be a much stronger partnership that
oh yeah, definitely,
could bear more fruit for
definitely.
them.
I mean,
Um,
I'm not a United fan, but if he reverts back to Maguire, I will be extremely surprised.
I think what's the next game is going to be where we see whether he maintains this or he tries to switch. Because since it worked against Liverpool, I don't. I think maybe he just needs Ten Hag just needs something stable for now, before he can truly start to try and implement his own style. So if this works, then it works. But let's see what
Yeah.
happens. What he does in the next game.
And speaking of that, next week's games, this Saturday 27th, the first game is Southampton versus Manchester United. So now United are playing away, and they're also going to be playing against a team that's not going to play as high and as open as Liverpool.
Yep,
So yeah, it will be
different proposition.
yeah. So I think this will be a better test to see what everyone uses for every manager this time now. But like Ten Hag ball.
Yeah, I agree. And to be fair, I do expect United to win just because Southampton is just so underwhelming. But you never know. Let's see how they do against that low block.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game that I would say, if it's speaking just off momentum, both teams have, because Southampton came back to beat Leicester from a goal down away from home.
Mm.
That's a huge boost, and United defeating Liverpool at home after losing 5-0 last season, that's a huge boost. So
Yeah, let's see
I
what
think
happens.
it's gonna come down to whoever's tactics are better for this game. I really can't pick a winner, but if I was to if there was put a gun to my head, I'll probably say United.
Mm-hmm.
Next game, Brentford Everton.
Um, Brentford have been doing pretty okay so far. I mean, that United win really put a bounce in their step, but then they went and lost. But they're still scoring. That's the thing. They're doing well. So Everton, I think Everton really starts from what I've seen so far this season. They start games very intense. They start like well, but then once they go down one goal, you can see the confidence starts to get shaky with them. So I think Brentford can really take the game to them. Plus, they're playing at home. Um, I'll go for a Brentford 2-1 on this.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. I have more faith in Brentford than Everton right now. And then next we have Brighton Leeds. A game I'm actually looking forward to.
This will be very fun game because they both won against teams that we didn't think they would. Well, not that we didn't think they would beat, but I think more so Brighton beating West Ham.
Yeah, it's not just beating those teams, but actually playing better than those teams in those games.
And these two teams are kind of coming up. Two charismatic managers. I think it's going to be a really great contest. I mean, I could see this going like a 2-2. I could see this. I think Leeds will really want to go for it because they're playing away. Brighton will want to go for it. They're at home. They both have momentum. Yeah.
I mean, I think it'll be a draw because I think Jesse March is not as guns blazing, rock and roll like Bielsa. He's playing away, so I think he'll be a bit more cautious. But I don't think. But his team was definitely still attack. So yeah, I think I see this as a tie, like you said, either a 1-1 or a 2-2.
Yeah.
And then we have Chelsea Leicester.
Oh, I'll go for a Chelsea win on this one. Leicester have been quite disappointing so far in the campaign, and you know the again those transfer talks are gonna be in the minds of Fofana, and they're just not settled right now, Leicester, and with Brendan Rodgers, it's just not looking. So Chelsea will also want to bounce back from the embarrassing defeat against Leeds. So this will be a good game for them to play.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe they would have signed a striker by then. So
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah, I'll give it to Chelsea. Just I think it's probably going to be maybe like a 1-0. Chelsea will probably make all the chances and then only score one. And then we have Liverpool versus Bournemouth, and I kind of feel sorry for Bournemouth.
Yeah, I really do. Scott Parker is not a bad manager. I just think
No, he's not. But the players he has just can't measure up to Liverpool. And this is a Liverpool team who's playing at home and will want to take their frustration from losing to United on someone.
Yep.
And sucks it has to be Bournemouth.
It might be a 3-0 Liverpool.
It could be more.
But hey, with the way Liverpool, their injuries, let's see. There could be at least Bournemouth could get one goal. Listen, all the results from last week.
Okay, yeah, it could be like a 3-1.
That's why
or
I was
4-1 or a 5-1.
We didn't really expect the results that we saw, in the previous week. So I think that's why. Yeah, again, that's what makes this the most unpredictable league. Is just
the only thing I can give Bournemouth is yes, they surprised everyone by beating Villa on the first day, but this is still Anfield.
No, of course, Liverpool, of course.
Even if they play terrible there, they still don't
their
lose.
Home. Yeah.
So, and I don't see Bournemouth scoring more than one goal there, and I just don't see their players because I feel like it's a game that even if Liverpool play the exact same way against Bournemouth that they played against United, I don't think they have anyone in that Bournemouth who was as tenacious as Martinez.
Nope.
That defense that would block everything like that.
Nope.
And let's not forget, United still got lucky. I mean,
they did. There was that goal line clearance where Fernandez almost he tried to clear it into his own goal, and Martinez was right there.
Martinez happened to be right there, and then there was also almost another own goal as well. So though Liverpool played bad, they could have easily drawn that game. So, to me, I just don't give Bournemouth a chance. If they win, it's strictly divine intervention.
Yeah. The next game is Man City versus Crystal Palace. Ooh, this is City's bogey team.
Yes. And it doesn't matter whether they're playing at the Etihad or at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace always just seems to have their number.
Yeah.
But then this is the first time they have them playing against an out-and-out striker.
That is true. But the thing is that, and I don't think Crystal Palace has a defense to sort of nullify a Haaland. Most teams don't.
I think teams do. They kind of have been doing that. The problem is they've been using their resources to defend Haaland. And by doing that,
and it's opening up space for
the other players.
De Bruyne, Silva, Foden.
People are saying that Haaland isn't scoring. I was like, because everyone is concentrating on him, and everyone else is open.
And you can see the same parallels with let's say a team like Arsenal. Jesus is taking up all that pressure and allowing people like Martinelli, Saka, people to be free.
Yeah, so it will be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
but Palace are still playing pretty well. How they played against Liverpool last week was great, and just putting aside Villa was pretty good. So
yeah, I want to give it to City because I know obviously they drew in the last game. They will not want to have that same situation, but because of how Palace always perform against them, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think this could be another draw. I think as long as Palace don't go in there overconfident, thinking, we have a good result, we always play well against this team, I think they can get something out of the game.
I think it could be 3-2 City.
3-2?
Yeah.
And finally on Saturday, another London derby.
So many. You
seem to have them every week now. Arsenal versus Fulham. Last
Listen,
time,
Fulham have been playing very well. I mean, this is not the same Fulham from the last time they came up.
yep.
And Mitrovic is dangerous. Um, Arsenal is playing at home though, so I fully expect them to continue the form that they're on.
Yeah, like if they were playing away, then I think this would have been a bit more tricky.
Mm.
But I still don't expect it to be an easy game
No,
because, first of all, London derbies are never easy games, no matter what level of opposition you're playing against.
yeah,
So I would give it to Arsenal, but I think it would probably be maybe like a 2-0. I don't see them blissing away this Fulham team the way they did like Bournemouth. But yeah, you can't. Nothing
can't
is set.
completely write off.
Yeah, you can't write off anyone right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I was gonna go for like a 3-1, but then I think Arsenal want to keep a clean sheet at home.
Yeah.
But Mitrovic is just so dangerous now. And I think Arsenal are trying to. I can see that they want to score more goals. Like I think that's something that they're doing a lot more this season.
That was their downfall last season. They
Yeah.
weren't scoring goals. If they scored enough goals, they would have been in the Champions League this year.
Yeah, so I think
Mm.
maybe a 3. But you're right. I don't think Fulham is just gonna get rolled over that easily.
Yeah, no, I don't see that either.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and then on Sunday, the remaining 3 games, we have Villa, West Ham, 2 teams who haven't started well.
I was gonna say West Ham. They are playing away though. It should be West Ham, but Villa could come with something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, both teams aren't playing well. It's hard to just pick one. It could go anyway. It could be a draw. It could be a win for either one of them. I can't pick.
I don't know. Maybe like an Ollie Watkins goal, and then
Perhaps.
yeah.
And then we have Wolves versus Newcastle. I gotta give it to Newcastle, man. The way they're playing is just.
Yeah, but Wolves are defensively good. They're not a bad defensive team.
Yeah, but their problem is the other end.
Yeah,
I mean,
they don't score.
Because the funny thing is that Wolves have really good attacking players, but then it just doesn't click for them when they wear their jersey. I mean, who ever thought that Diogo Jota was that good? Going from
That's true.
Wolves
The system really. I think he wasn't able to shine as well over there.
yeah. So yeah, I'll give it to Newcastle.
Yeah.
And then Forest versus Spurs.
This is gonna be interesting. I want to see how Spurs play away at City Ground. Nottingham Forest have had a decent start to the season. Will they be able to dispatch of Spurs at home? I don't know. But I think it might be like a shaky 1-0.
Yeah, I think it might be like a shaky win for Spurs.
Mm.
Because I mean, I really don't see Forest winning the game, but I can see them putting up a good fight to nullify Spurs. But I just don't see them winning the game.
Yeah, might be like a 1-0.
Probably like a 1 or 2-0.
I don't even see 2. I think 1.
No, I mean with the front line Spurs have, I was just putting like a 2 because those guys are very potent.
Well, we'll see.
All right, and I think those are all the games for game week 4. Look at that, we already have up to game week 4 already, man. It feels like
Yeah.
the season just started and we've already had 3 weeks of it.
It did. Yeah, I've already had 3 weeks, but that's all the Premier League games. I think the draw for the Champions League and the Europa League is this week.
Yep.
So we'll get to know what teams are playing who. And did you have any other news info?
Not really. I mean, I saw that Callum Hudson-Odoi might be going to Bayer Leverkusen on loan. And there's still Aubameyang is still a Chelsea target. Fofana and Chelsea still going on. The rumors of Bernardo Silva and Barca is still going on. Oh, and Eric Bailey from United is going to Marseille on loan.
Oh, okay.
I always forget that dude is at
Yeah,
Manchester United.
he disappeared.
And the funny thing is, when I think of him, then I remember someone else who's still there, Phil Jones.
Oh, jeez. I didn't even know he was still there.
Yeah, he's been there like almost invisible. I think the only time I saw him play last season was the Liverpool away. But although to be fair, he played well in that game, even though they lost.
Mm.
But yeah, and also I think Nicolas Pepe are going on loan to Nice, I believe.
I don't know if that's been fully confirmed yet, but
Yeah, it hasn't been confirmed.
and I
But
think Barcelona are looking at Hector Bellerin.
yeah, I heard that as well. That they're also trying to tell him to wait until it's close to deadline date to sort of force it. Like, man, goodness, Barcelona just sounds so shady.
It's ridiculous.
It's just it puts a bad taste in my mouth. Like it's like, oh, please, like, can we not talk about them right now? Well, anyway, that's everything we have for this week. Thank you for joining us. Sorry that the pod came late, but better late than never.
Yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and then we'll see you next week for more tasty morsels.
All right, thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Bye.